What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to How Do I Want to Do This? This is our series where we take a look at all playable options available to players in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and then we rank them on a scale of 1 to 10, and then we build them together or we fix them if they don't quite rank high enough. Now this week we are talking about the College of Eloquence Bard, and if you just want to add a little bit more charisma to your already charismatic Bard, this might just be your ticket. So go ahead, leave a like on the video and go ahead and subscribe as well. As you can see, most people who watch this channel are actually not subscribed by a hefty margin. So please help me out. It really helps the channel. We're trying to get to 500 subs by the end of the year, which I think is possible, but I need your help in doing so. So please share the video with all of your friends. It really helps us out. And then of course, click the bell so that you're notified anytime I upload so that you don't miss any new videos. So the College of Eloquence Bard is a very cool take on the Bard. It is very simple in what it does, but it is also quite effective in what it does. So let's go ahead and see what all we get as part of this kit and just how well it enhances the Bard. So let's dive right in. Level 3, we get 2 features here, and the first is Silver Tongue. Very simple, but what it does, anytime that you make a deception or persuasion roll, you can't roll lower than a 10. So this is very interesting, right? Because this combos with expertise, which you also get at 3rd level. So you could expertise out with persuasion and deception. So you're doubling your proficiency bonus on it, plus assuming that you have like at least a 4 or a 5 modifier on your charisma, because they're both charisma skills. Yeah, you're basically going to be persuading it left and right and lying through your teeth left and right, and you're pretty much almost always going to succeed, and it's going to be even easier as you go. So yeah, this is pretty great. Obviously not a combat thing, but very useful during exploration, because if you need to talk to somebody in order to get directions, or maybe you want lower prices from a merchant or whatever it happens to be, you can do that quite effectively. This is a 9 out of 10 feature. It doesn't apply to combat, so you know it doesn't cover every facet of the game, so I'm not going to say that it's a 10 out of 10 feature, but it's quite useful because this is going to make sure that you pretty much almost always succeed, and yeah, it's pretty fantastic. Speaking of fantastic, also at 3rd level, we get Unsettling Words. And what this does is it allows you to, instead of using your Bardic Inspiration to give to a friend to boost attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks, as well as other things added in Tasha's, this allows you to subtract it from enemy saving throws. So you roll your Bardic Inspiration and you choose a target, and it has to use that as a subtractor from its next saving throw. Now, what's interesting here, right? It's a bonus action for us to use this, just like our normal Bardic Inspiration. So we also have our action. So you could bring a lot of spells that require a saving throw, something that requires a Wisdom saving throw, or even a Dexterity saving throw, depending on what kind of effect you're going for. But they have to subtract whatever you rolled on your Bardic Inspiration from their save. That could force them to fail where they would have otherwise succeeded. That's pretty useful. The other thing is it's until the start of your next turn. So it's not necessarily you that has to deal the blow. So you could go ahead and do this and maybe throw out a cantrip or something, and then let your wizard, let your sorcerer, let your other powerful spellcasters, let those throw up something that's big damage and really requires a poor saving throw. This can be useful. So it's not only great for you, but it's also good for your teammates. That's a 10 out of 10 feature right there. It gives you another use of your Bardic Inspiration. It allows it to be more flexible. It scales as you go, just like your Bardic Inspiration. It scales with it. Yeah, there's no downside to this at all. This is just a fantastic feature. At 6th level, we get Unfailing Inspiration, and what this does is basically when one of your friends uses your Bardic Inspiration and it does not turn a failure into a success, it's not expended. So, you know, you roll a 13 on your dexterity saving throw. DC's 15, so you're like, okay, I can roll a 2 on Bardic Inspiration. You roll a 1, and so you fail anyway. Normally, the Bardic Inspiration would be expended and it's gone. You lose it, even though it didn't actually help. Yeah, with this feature, that's not a thing, and they get to keep it. The person you gave it to gets to keep it. Again, that's a 10 out of 10 feature. That's the big weakness of Bardic Inspiration, is the fact that even if it doesn't necessarily succeed, it still is expended. This takes that away. This took away like the only weakness of Bardic Inspiration. So yeah, 10 out of 10. I can't rank this any lower. At 6th level, we also get Universal Speech, and this basically gives us the ability to communicate with anyone that we want to, regardless of a language barrier, which is pretty cool. So as an action, we can choose creatures equal to charisma modifier number, which should be 5 by this point, hopefully. And then they understand you for an hour, and that's pretty cool. The other awesome thing about this, and this is why Tasha's On is fantastic, and why you should always talk to your DM about having things reworded that were written earlier. This says you use this once per long rest, or you can expend a spell slot to use it again. This needs to be a thing. In any time that you have a feature that says you can cast this spell without the use of a spell slot once per long rest. In newer books, it is always once per long rest, or you can use a spell slot to cast this again. This is the way it should be worded, because it gives you much more flexibility. You get one for free, but then after that it costs you resources, but so you have to weigh the costs. Are you out of 1st level spell slots? Is it worth taking a 2nd level spell slot? Is it worth blowing this and not having access to shield? Is this worth a 3rd level spell slot, even, like if you're that far along? So it's just you have to weigh your options here, and I think that that's a great thing, is having a cost to it, but also having high reward. And I think that that's fantastic. As far as this feature goes, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It is social only, but it is still pretty cool. It's useful. There are often times where you're going to run into language barriers, where something is speaking a language that nobody understands, and yet you're going to be able to. You're going to be able to understand exactly what this person or creature wants. So I think that's really, really useful. I think it's versatile. It's nice. Finally, at 14th level, we get Infectious Inspiration. So what this does is, if a creature within 60 feet of you uses Bardic Inspiration, and it succeeds, so remember, if it fails, it's not expended, so they get to keep it. If it succeeds, you can use your reaction to move it to someone else. And it doesn't take up another use of your Bardic Inspiration. So essentially, as long as you're within 60 feet and the person can hear you, you have 10 uses of Bardic Inspiration, which is kind of nuts, because you get charisma bonus times per day, but then now you get charisma bonus times per day as far as using this reaction. That's kind of busted. that's kind of busted, and it's a 10 out of 10. You have options for both, if it fails and if it succeeds, to get the most out of your Bardic Inspiration, which is basically your best feature. So there's no downside to this feature. So what do we think of the kit overall? I don't think you're going to be surprised by my ranking at all. This is an absolutely fantastic subclass. It takes what makes a bard good and absolutely just maxes it out and goes ham on it. The fact that you can use your persuasion and deception and basically never fail, that's amazing for social situations. It can get you out of problems. It can get you into good situations. It's always useful to have that. Adding a negative Bardic Inspiration to saving throws. What if you're high level and roll a 12? I mean, come on, a negative 12 to a saving throw on something like banishment, on something like, something crazy. Like, this is really awesome and really versatile. Definitely useful all the time. Unfailing Inspiration. There's no downside to that. If it doesn't work, then you just try again. It's so nice. Like, everything in this kit works, and it works really well together. It just makes the bard more bard. And that's why this is a 10 out of 10 subclass. This is absolutely amazing. There is nothing even remotely bad about this. It's bad that universal speech is our worst feature, and yet that's still a very good feature. It's not universally useful. Like, you're not going to use it every day, but I'm sure you'll use it over the course of your campaign. I'm sure you'll use it a few times. So, I mean, it'll come up. All the other stuff is going to come up like daily, like per short rest. I mean, this stuff's going to happen a lot. So it's absolutely amazing what you can do with this subclass. So that's our look at the College of Eloquence Bard. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Later this week, we will be building one of these together, and I hope you all are looking forward to that, because I am. Until then, make sure to have a great week. Stay safe out there, stay healthy, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.